Hello racing fans, and welcome to MotherShip Racing. I am your host and driver, Ellie, and today we'll be looking at a race I recently did at Indy GP course. It was a lot of fun. As we get off, I start in P3 after qualifying, which is not that unusual for me. I don't think I rarely qualify P1. I'm rarely at the back of the grid either. Occasionally, I have the slowest of the qualifying times, but there's always players that don't qualify, so they're always on the grid behind me. Well, don't post qualifying times, I mean. So yeah. So we start third, and we battle for second for quite a while here in the first couple of laps with the number 7 JP Special car. This is, of course, Formula Mazda class on Forza Motorsport 7 PC version, and Formula Mazda is an entry-level open-wheel class that has wonderfully fun cars to drive, I think. I just adore this series. I spent a lot of time in the multiplayer online racing series with Formula Mazda. Yeah, quite enjoy these cars. It's becoming pretty clear by the end of lap 1 that I'm not really going to be keeping up with the front runners. Once again, that's not that unusual for me. I rarely have the fastest car on the grid when I get into these multiplayer races. But again, I also really have the slowest car in the grid. I do have a caveat to make in that I drive with automatic computer braking turned on. Now it's on the second setting, so it doesn't slow me as I'm coming up behind the vehicle, but it slows me to the proper speed for corners. That's kind of a twofold thing. It's kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other thing going in there, because going into corners, I don't have nearly as good a control over my braking as somebody doing manually braking with skill is going to be able to do. On the other hand, coming out of corners, I'm able to be on the acceleration pretty much immediately after the braking zone is over, because of the way the computer's coming off the braking, and I'm able to keep my foot on the accelerator through the whole deal because of how that works. So I'm pretty sure I'm at a disadvantage going into corners against racers that are using manual braking, but I may have an advantage coming out of corners. There's a couple of spots in here where it looks pretty clear to me that I'm having an easier time coming out of corners with my computer braking than the manual braking players. But yeah, so this is, as I mentioned, the Indy GP course at Indianapolis Speedway. Not a huge fan of straight oval racing, but I kind of like this GP course on at Indy, which kind of mixes oval and GP style racing. The chicane on the back stretch is a fair bit of fun, and I have a pretty good time through there. I think I have 1 or 2 bobbles later in the race going through there, but I did a pretty good job going through there. So we're coming up on the end of lap 2 here, where I'm still pretty comfortably in third position, quite a ways behind the 2 front runners. Still got a decent lap on the, a decent gap on the drivers behind me. So you know we're looking pretty good here, partway through this 8-lap race. And you know, my sort of style of driving is to be pretty consistent through the whole race. And like I say, I'm almost never out in front to start, and I'm almost never right at the back either, unless something horrendous happens in the opening lap when, you know, traffic, and that can happen from time to time in sim racing, right? So I think it's think I have a couple of more pretty clean laps coming through here, but there's a bobble that I have coming up shortly that drops me back down to 5th place from 3rd here, which is yeah, a bit of a problem. But one of the reasons I'm posting this particular race is because in the end it comes down to a pretty fierce wheel-to-wheel battle for 3rd place between me and another driver. Once the I had a 0.3 second time advantage on them because of a penalty that they took earlier in the race. And when all when everything was worked out in the wash at the end, they were 3rd by 1/1000th of a second in front of me. It was quite the battle right there at the end. So we're coming up on that. Like I say, I've got another. I think I've got a clean lap 4 coming up. We still got the back chicane to go through here. Oh no, we're into the final corner here, right? So I think I go through this lap pretty cleanly again. You can see the 2 guys behind me starting to catch up a little bit. So they are closing the gap. One of the things there. Oh no, there we go. I didn't get through this one cleanly. It's on lap 4 that I have my little bobble hit the grass there. Coming through the first complex there on the Indy GP course, and that allows the cars behind me to catch up a little bit and start putting some pressure on me here. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose 3rd position before the end of this lap, if I remember correctly how this went. One of my issues is that I've always got, I'm always a little underpowered, it seems, against the other vehicles on the straights. I do a pretty decent job through the corners, I think largely thanks to my computer braking. But once I hit the straights, there's a lot of times when I am watching cars coming up behind me. Catching up to me on the straights, and then I could, open up a gap again as we go through some of the corner complexes. But it's something I got to look at in the tuning setup for these races. Is I've clearly got an issue on my top end compared to the other cars. In theory, we should be driving identical vehicles in Formula Mazda as far as the parts are concerned. There's obviously some variations in how you tune the vehicles with, gear ratios and braking force and that sort of thing. And I still haven't got a really good handle on the best way to do that. Right, so I guess we managed lap 4 in 3rd place, but as you can see here, we've just started to get into a battle for 3rd place here as we've lost it and gone back to 4th here, and pretty much wheel to wheel and swapping positions now from here for the final 4 laps with this car, and it's quite an exciting race. I mean, we both build up some gaps here and there, but we're both in 3rd and we're both in 4th for a good portion of these last four laps. It's really good racing, I think. In both cases, there's very little contact. We're very close to each other going through some corners in a couple of places, pretty much wheel to wheel. And other than one little bump at one point that doesn't really impact either of us and was completely incidental, it's a very clean battle, and I quite enjoyed that. I've got a relatively good safety record in these multiplayer online games. I'm not quite at the S setting, which is where I'd like to be. Here you can see they've clearly got the advantage on me on the straights. So I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to play around with the tuning setups and see what I can do with that, because I'm clearly getting taken out in the straights, even though I'm pretty competitive through the corner complexes. So yeah, going into lap 6 now. We are in 4th place still, but as I say, this battle continues for another 3 laps as we flip it back and forth between these two. I believe there's a bit of a bobble here by the guy in front, and I get an excellent corner coming out. This is I think right here. This is going to be an example, I think, of me having. No, I guess it'll be on the next one. That one there, I was close, as you can see. I had to brake coming out of that because I didn't quite have the line to come around him on that one. I think that might have been actually one little bit of incidental contact there. There's another spot where he gets me in the back end as well later on. But neither of them, I think, were particularly bad contact. And the penalties didn't come from any of our contact, as far as I was aware. I think he had the penalties long before this started. So here we go. I managed to pick up 3rd again through that back chicane complex as we come around to once again going into or are we now coming into the back chicane complex? No, we're coming into the back chicane complex now. Sorry, that was through the first corner complex. We're now coming into the back chicane, and again, they've managed to take me on that straight, but they have the bobble through the chicane here, and I'm able to pull out front once again here, coming into the end of lap 6. And I managed to pull out a bit of a lead here, but can't hold on to it, as you'll see coming up here on the end of lap 6, going into lap 7. 2 laps to go at this point. As we come in, and you can see here how quickly they pull the gap. Once again, though, this is when they came into that one too quickly, and I'm able to get a pretty good coming out of this one. I'm able to get a much better corner than they are up here, and I pull ahead once again coming down this back straight. Right there, I'm able to go, and boom, we get on the accelerator right now, and get in a pretty good overtake right there, I think. But it doesn't hold. We are once again wheel to wheel coming through this section, and I think I'm able to hold on to it for a couple of corners, but then we lose it again on the straights, if I'm remembering correctly. Coming back into the first big corner complex, down into the back chicane straight. And I think this is where I end up losing it once again. Yeah, you can see him like just closing that gap like crazy on me. So no, looks like I probably keep it through the chicane here. He's right on my tail though. Through the back chicane, and I know I'm going to have issues rolling off coming around the back here, because as I said, I'm already aware at this point that they're faster than me going through the straights, so I've got to be tricky. When I'm racing against the computers, it's pretty easy to drive defensively and keep the cars behind me, but that's a lot harder to do when you're racing against real people. They're more aggressive and getting around you. So this final lap here is quite the wheel-to-wheel racing segment. So we lose it there. We pull it back again on this final back straight for a little bit. If I'm not mistaken. Indeed. Coming in here, barely got the nose in front for this for this corner complex. And it is a battle back and forth. Not going to hold this for long, though, unfortunately. I was pretty sure at this point I wasn't going to get third on merit. Like, I was not going to be the third car across the line. I was still thinking I might be able to get it on time penalties, depending on how it worked. But I was pretty sure I was going to lose the spot at some point down this section or in the final corner, coming into the finish line. Indeed, you can see we're going to be wheel to wheel, or actually he's going to be ahead of me coming through the chicane here. So I am in serious trouble because I know I can't make up that time coming out of here. It's going to be basically my only hope at that point was for them to have a bobble through the chicane, and me have a clean track in front of me to the run. I mean, I make a pretty good go of it here, and we're wheel to wheel for a bit of it, but I just can't hold it. I just can't hold it through the end. They come in, and we end up, like I say, 1/1000th of a second back. Thanks for joining me on this edition of MotherShip Racing. Like and subscribe for more racing content, as well as content from the poker world and retro media and more. Click the button in the top right corner or have a look at some of the playlists around the screen to get some more content from MotherShip Media.